Hello, and welcome to Pod of the Week, a place where I get to share my thoughts on pods I think you need to know about. Now, this is the final installment of the holiday podcast suggestions, because I do believe we, need to look at 2026 and what could get the foundations ready for 2026. So this podcast episode is from a podcaster which I've referenced before, and this is Dan Harper from the 10% Happier podcast. But this unique episode, although it's 2 years old, or last year, 2024, I believe it will help you navigate some of the uncomfortable, odd questions that potentially may come your way dealing with family, friends, around the fire, or over this festive season. And this episode is called How to Survive the Holidays. Advice for political conversations, overeating, and the indignities of travel. Yes, on the first two, I imagine we are going to be having this festive season. So this is a solo episode by Dan, and it's just an internal conversation which I think will just give you some perspectives on how to navigate the potential challenges of these conversations that will eventually come up, especially around the braai, around festive season. So if you want to know what it sounds like, have a listen.
Hey, everybody, Dan here. I've got a solo podcast for you today. No guest. It's just me. I have whipped up a holiday survival guide for you, a series of evidence-based strategies for navigating what can be a tricky time of year. Let me say from the jump here that I actually love the holidays, although, of course, there are lots of complications. I'm aware, however, that some of you find nothing redeeming in the holidays, and for you, this season is, holistically horrible. So I have tried to whip up something that will work for everybody, no matter where you stand on the holidays. What I want to do, no matter where you stand, is to reframe the holidays. You've heard me make this move before. I did this the last time I recorded an episode on election stress, for example. I like to reframe difficult patches in my life, and by extension, your life, as a test, as a gym, as a dojo, as a place to practice all of these strategies that we know work to help us do our lives better. So let's think about the holidays in that regard, or at least try to. During the course of this episode, I'm going to talk about 9 pain points, 9 ways in which the holidays can suck, including, navigating political differences around the dinner table, overeating, overwhelm, travel indignities, social anxiety, difficult family members, et cetera, et cetera. I've identified 9 different pain points, and I'm going to share with you a bunch of strategies pulled from ancient wisdom and modern science. Before I dive in, my usual caveats, I'm going to throw a lot of stuff at you here. You do not have to do any of these things. Please view this as a menu, not a to-do list. The point is not to overwhelm you. If you do find that a couple of these strategies work for you, please don't try to do everything at once. That is a recipe for stress. And to the extent that you try them and quote unquote fail, please give yourself some grace to start again. And I'll have more to say about this notion of starting again throughout this episode. Okay, your holiday survival guide coming up right after this.
So if you're looking for a podcast that will give you some perspective, or a greater perspective on how to navigate these challenges of these uncomfortable conversations and seemingly uncomfortable conversations, then this is the podcast for you. So remember, pods are not for sale. They're fake.